Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the tier 10 mercenary light tank and one of my favourite tanks in the game, the Tusk. Now this light tank is such a stupid little light tank and I love it. And that's because if you don't know me and you don't know my love of derp guns, then you don't know my absolute joyous love of the tank. It's so good. Like, it may not be the best light tank. It does have 420 view range, which is nice. It's got a decent camo, which is great. It's got good top speed, but the track traverse on it is pretty awful. It doesn't turn very well at all. It does take a fair application of the handbrake for it to be able to like spin round tanks quite often. But what makes me love this tank is the derp gun. I love derp guns. This 152 that you get from the Sheridan and the Tusk is hilarious on this tank. And it works better on this tank than it does on most others. Now, one reason for that is because the Tusk is very low profile. It's a lot shorter than the Sheridan, which is what helps it when it comes to penning a lot of tanks in the ass. Because the Sheridan is probably too tall for when you run past people sometimes, so that the shells tend to go higher, whereas since this is lower to the ground and closer basically to the asses when you go past them, the shell is more likely to go straight in. Now I unlocked this tank the second time round that the contract came about, because I was not mad and I didn't grind it out the first time it did. Because when the first time this contract came out, you had to play, for the final stage alone, you had to get like 900,000 XP by playing only the Sheridan and the 13105. Now, I don't like the 13105. The Sheridan was never that bad. I kind of enjoyed the Sheridan, but I didn't want to play the 13105 that much. And at that time, to do that final requirement, you probably had to play the 13105 and the Sheridan 200 to 300 times each just to unlock this Tusk. Now, as much as I love derp guns, and I love this Tusk now, obviously I didn't know how much I'd love it before I had it unlocked. I was not mental. I was not going to do that. So the second time they released it, which is when I did it, they changed the requirements for the contract. So they made it so that you could play light tanks and TDs at tier 9 and tier 10. For both the second to last and the final stage, and that made it significant. I think they also reduced the XP requirement as well by a slight bit, and that just made it easier. That made it so much nicer to do. And for me, I had just unlocked the T30 at the time. Like, obviously, I've not got the tier 9 Foch or the Foch 155, so I hadn't got anywhere near that. But I'd just unlocked the T30. So I went from stock T30 to 3 marks and unlocked and bought the E4 and got that to 2 marks in the time it took me to finally unlock the Tusk. And boy oh boy was it worth that time and effort. It's a hell of a lot of effort to get it just for the XP requirement and all, having to play the 6 tanks I had over and over and over again. But it was definitely worth it. And that brings me on to my point of now. If this contract comes up now, it's even more worth it to do. Because it's a hell of a lot easier to do than it used to be. The XP requirements for tier 10 mercenary tanks and the tier 9 ones are incredibly high. The only one that's not randomly is the machine. The machine randomly is the easiest contract to do, and it's the most stupid tank out of the lot. Weird, but yeah. But yeah, anyway, the Tusk, that side point, the Tusk contract is so much easier to do now because you can play all tier 9 and tier 10 TDs and light tanks. So you're not just restricted to the American and the French ones. So now you can play all of your tier 9, all of your tier 10 TDs, LTs. So you can play, you know, your T100 LT, your WZ1321 as well, your Panzerwagen. You can play your what else? you can play your Gorilla, you can play your Jagdpanzer, you play your Waffle. You know, you can all these other tanks that you couldn't play before, you now can. So you've got a massive greater variety of tanks to unlock to do the contract. And daily doubles always help with mercenary contracts, because daily doubles will speed you along a lot easier. And it also gives you something to sort of aim for, so you can like, I've got 20 daily doubles to do. I'll do these 20 daily doubles, and then that's it. I'm fine for this contract grind. I don't have to keep playing these tanks. So it gives you a nice thing to aim for. So in this game, we have abused some people. That T95 we abused, and that he is the dream, because he was alone, singled out, turretless TD with a big juicy ass that's easy to pen, and we just got to demolish it. We penned it for like 800 and some. It was beautiful. So now their team has just crumbled. It's 8-2, and there's only 5 of them left. We're looking at it going, there's a Type 5 Heavy there. Can I do anything to the Type 5 Heavy? Well, because it's a Derp gun and we've got Splash, I can shoot underneath the tank and do like 300 damage. But if I hit it flat on, the likelihood of me doing any damage at all is, well, it's unlikely. I'm more likely to do about 100 damage, if that. But, you know, so that guy, other guy's dead, and I'm thinking, you know, this Type 5 ain't going to shoot me. He's not going to just pick me to shoot, is he? I'm just going to try and track him and get the assistance, and then he's using the HE gun and pens us for 1,000. Lovely. But we get all his tracking, so, you know, I think I'll take it. And there's just one guy left, it's this Conqueror, and I'm thinking, this is a pen. I want this pen. So we're coming around this rock and we spot him up. And luckily for us, he just ignores us. So, boop, in the ass, 890, thank you very much, goodbye. Now that game was before 5.0, so as you can see, it takes a lot longer for the game to end, which I kind of liked, because I could do stuff like that cool handbrake turn. And there's no PS4 play, there's no crossplay. So that was just all Xbox. But we do just under 8k combined in the Tusk, in a tank that I love. 14 shots fired, 10 hits, 10 pens. 1700 base XP. We were with Joker's, Turkey and Swindle in that game. But in this game, it's just me and Turkey. Now this isn't an ace, I think this is a first class. And I had this on Turkey's stream when I was playing with him. And this game is just mental, because it's one of those games where we don't really stop driving. It's non-stop action. We keep going all over the place. Now, we were unlucky not to plan the LTTB, but this RU makes a mistake and comes after the Tusk. And Tusk does not let RU get away with that. So, goodbye RU, and we're reloading again, and we've got this Gorilla. This Gorilla is what we want. Now, I was coming over here because I didn't expect him to move. But he has, he's driven over there. So we're auto-aiming in, and our gun flicks to the floor. We miss. Turkey flies over, misses. The Gorilla then misses both of us. And we're like, you know what, we're doing this again. We're going again, let's do it. We both come over that same ridge line. Turkey dirts him, we're lucky not to pen him. I finish him, and we drive off. Because that's what Tusk does. So their team is all congregated in the middle of this map. So we're going to see if we can get flanked behind and get shots into their juicy booties. And I'm thinking, shall I try and shot on the move? No, I'm not going to hit that. But of course Turkey does for 320. So we're going to get up behind them. We're going to see if we can get anyone to pen in the ass. And as we come around this corner, we spot this 257 up. And I think this was during True Vision, which is why there was that little lag there where we kind of saw him before he got spotted. But yeah, we shot him in the ass and unfortunately didn't pen him, because we can pen a 257 in the ass, but we probably hit him quite high up. I kind of stopped then because I didn't want to run into that bat chat, but Turkey was like, I'm going. So I'm like, okay, I'm joining, because I'm up for this lunacy that is this game at the minute. And as we're driving up behind these guys, we spot the Jagdpanzer, so we make sure we get behind this cover so we can pull forward, but they're just not interested. Now, I know I can pen WZ-11158 ass with this Derp gun, but unfortunately it doesn't pen. But it does set him on fire, so he burns for a hell of a lot of damage for us. We drive past Turkey as we're coming back round. Turkey takes the hit from the WZ, but it finishes him off. Now I drive behind these guys, and I'm thinking I can pen that 257, but unfortunately I don't. I hit him for 395, and we've got to get out because that Jagdpanzer's turning for us, and we don't want any of what he is selling. So while we're reloading, we're looking at it, and we're going, oh, an Andre the Giant. I can pen that in the butt. So you can see I'm angling for that shot, but unfortunately he shuts down the Stone Cold, and we hit the dead Stone Cold. Unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And we're now reloading this shell. We're looking at the 257, but you know what? I decide, I'm ignoring that 257. I'm going to go for the pen. And that is on this Andre the Giant in his butt. 906. Oh yes, it's just what you want. But we've got to get out of dodge now because the E100 and the Andre are now looking my way because they killed my friend. Or, well, they're still trying to kill my friend. But Andre is not happy that I booped him in the ass. So unfortunately the Stone Cold pops a shot into a, well, 2 shots. That 113 misses us this time. And we managed to luckily get away. We're up to 4k damage. And we're just swinging around now waiting for that reload to come back in. So we're going to come back for this 113. Shut his ass down. We'll teach him for shooting us earlier on. And now that Stone Cold has fired both his shots at that guy. We saw it happen. We know we can out-reload him. We need to kind of get round his... But we need to pen him to kill him for the most part. So we're trying to get round, but he can out-traverse us. So as we're handbraking, we swing the shot in and we pen anyway for 366. But a generally non-stop fun game in the Tusk. Yeah, it was a first class, 4.4k damage. Non-stop fun. We didn't really stop driving in that game, and we just ran rings around where the enemy team was. Me and Turkey both fired 13, hit 10, pen 10. Fun game. Like I say, I love the Tusk. It's one of the most fun light tanks in the game for me. I can just run around, dirt people. It's great. And it's well worth the grind of the contract to get. I love it. It's brilliant. So, as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.